Good afternoon, councillors and staff and visitors. It's rather strange to be back here in live and great to see everyone. So I welcome you to the council meeting for the 3rd of November 2021, and I will just open the meeting by saying that we have got a hybrid meeting today. So, of course, we are required for those councillors who are streaming into the meeting to make sure that they can hear and see me. So, firstly, Councillor Gail Maher.
I can see and hear you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, and I can hear and see you, Councillor Maher. And Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. I can see all the councillors and the acting CEO, and I can also hear you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Ripper. We've got two forms of council meeting information. I think I have to read the one that's we're actually live. So here I go. So, members of the public gallery should note that the council records and publishes council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate times during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the council, at which time their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the council meeting but who wish to communicate with the council via the online web form should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure that their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please, could gallery visitors and councillors ensure that their mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Next is the Acknowledgement of Country and Prayer. And I haven't had to stand for a while, so I'm a bit confused. So, the Acknowledgement of Country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gunai people, and pay respects to their elders, past and present. And now the prayer. Almighty God, we ask your blessings upon the Wellington Shire Council, its councillors, officers, staff and their families. We pray for your guidance in our decisions so that the true good of the Wellington Shire Council may result to the benefit of all residents and community groups. Amen. Thank you. Next, I'll sit down. Next we have apologies. I do believe, Mr Deputy Mayor, that we've got an apology from the CEO.
Yes, he had to visit a dentist, and it's become an issue that prevents him coming back. I won't go into the details.
No, I don't think we want the detail. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Rossetti, for passing on that apology from the CEO. And I think all other councillors are either present or online, so there's no other apologies. The next item on the agenda is the election of the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor. Just before, so just before I hand over to the acting CEO to chair this part of the council meeting as per the governance rules, I'd just like to repeat. I'd just like to quickly again say thank you to the councillors for the support that they've shown me in my role as Mayor over the last 12 months. I've appreciated the opportunity to serve as Mayor. It's been a great honour to do so, albeit constrained by various activities that have got something to do with COVID-19. I'd just like to also thank the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Scott Rossetti, for his support, and of course generally all councillors and all council officers too, Mr Acting CEO. I think I think we're very fortunate that the council and the staff of the Wellington Shire Council work together really well as a team, and I'm sure that we're the envy of all our other councils for the way we do that. So thank you one and all, and all the best. So the next item, yes, is the election of the mayor and the deputy mayor, and as I indicated, it is the duty of the CEO or acting CEO under the governance rules to chair this portion of the meeting. So over to you, Mr. Acting Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to chair this section of the meeting. So I guess, councillors, could I call for nominations for mayor? Councillor Wood.
I hereby nominate Councillor Ian Bye for the position of Mayor, Wellington Shire Council.
Councillor Bye, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, Acting CEO, I accept that nomination.
I'm happy to second that, Mr. Acting CEO.
All right.
I'm happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor.
Well, I'll let you do it, Councillor Marr.
I said I was happy to second that.
So seconded by Councillor Marr and nominated by Councillor Wood.
Yeah, you can delete me. You can delete me, Denise. I'll step back.
So we'll wait for that motion to be.
Delete me. Well, I think there's any. I think now we need to know if there's any other nominations.
Any other
Mr.
nominations,
Acting CEO?
councillors, at this point? No. On that basis, I think we have a motion.
Yeah. Well,
then on the board.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to move the recommendation, Mr. Acting CEO, that Councillor Ian Bye be elected as Mayor of Wellington Shire Council for a term concluding at the first Ordinary Council meeting in November 2022, and 2, this election supersedes the term of the previous Mayor.
Happy to second that, Mayor. Moved by the previous Mayor and seconded by the Petition.
Yes. So I think we just need to put the care.
Is the motion?
Yeah.
Is the motion opposed? No. Then congratulations, Councillor Bye.
I think you can
Come on down.
come on down. Yeah.
You take your name back, sir. Gary.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a feather dust under your seat.
Do I start? No, let's not go there.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll do that right now.
You've turned it off.
Might help I turn the microphone on. Firstly, I'd like to thank my fellow council for their support in electing me to the role of Mayor for the next 12 months. I'd also like to acknowledge the great job that Councillor Stevens has done as Mayor over the past term. It has been trying times running meetings via technology and not to be face-to-face. Councillor Stevens embraced the challenge and I must commend him on a fantastic job in those trying times. Well done, Councillor Stevens. I'd also like to thank our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Rossetti, in his role as well. As a community, we've come through remarkably the COVID challenges, but there is still a lot of work to do. We are a resilient community and we must stay strong to support each other. Wellington Shire residents are leading the way with vaccinations, and we are now above 95% first vaccination rate. So I think that is quite outstanding. The councillors around the table would all agree that our job representing the community is made a lot easier by the operation of the Wellington Shire by our CEO David Morecambe and his fantastic team that work tirelessly to make Wellington a great place to live. I'd like to make one example of that. We've just gone through, many say, is the worst wind event or storm in 20 years. It happened on Friday. It passed through Gippsland and Broader Victoria. There was over 200,000 homes that were affected with power outages. We still have currently just under 550 Wellington residents that don't have power. But we must congratulate AusNet for the work they have done and everyone in the community that has actually gone out to help ensure the community gets safer. There's been many road closures, and again I must say I reported quite a few road closures in the Sale area, and they were cleared swiftly. So a great effort by everyone involved. Residents with damaged or falling trees, we received information from the SES that 54 properties were potentially damaged by fallen trees, which when you think about the damage across the Shire, to only have 54 properties that were actually damaged, it's quite amazing. Council staff will be following up with these property owners to understand if any referrals need to be made to the Gippsland Emergency Relief Fund or elsewhere. And again, I must say that the council staff have done a fantastic job at coordinating the relief line for community members impacted to be able to access support. We've only had about 5 to 10 calls per day, but the action from each of those calls is quite a lot, so they've done well. And also the community, not only council team members that have gone out to assist the community, but also places without power such as Locksport, Golden Beach, Seaspray, Binjan-Warri, Devon, North, Coolangatta. Meals have been provided by community organisations as well as the Yarra Neighbourhood House, Lions clubs in Wellington for their supports. Not only council has gone out there, our community organisations have assisted as well. Now, all the residents must remember this is free month drop-off for green waste. So anyone that is affected and does have trees that are down or green waste that needs removing, please take it out. It is free to drop that off. And finally, I'd like to thank the councillors again for showing their faith in me in the role of Mayor. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to move on to the next item, which is the election of the Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Could I call from councillors for a nomination for Deputy Mayor?
Councillor Marcus McKenzie.
Councillor McKenzie, you accept that nomination?
Yes, I wish to accept that nomination.
All right. Do we need a seconder on that one? Yes, second. Yep. So Councillor Stevens is seconder. And do we have any other nominations for Deputy Mayor from councillors? I'll take that as no at this point. Wait a second. Otherwise, we have a motion on the board.
Thank you, Acting CEO. I move that one, Councillor Marcus McKenzie be elected as Deputy Mayor of Wellington Shire Council for a term concluding at the first ordinary council meeting in November 2022, and two, this election supersedes the term of the previous Deputy Mayor. Even that was really well.
Seconded, Councillor Tatterson. And that concludes that part of the process. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to congratulate Councillor McKenzie, Deputy Mayor. Well done. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, there you go. I didn't have a speech ready, so apologise for that, but I'd like to certainly thank my fellow councillors for their support. In my first year of being a councillor, I really appreciate that, the support, and here we go. I think next year is going to be a lot better than 2020 and 21 as far as where the community is going. The council plan that we've just put together over the last 12 months and finalised just this month is critical to our engagement with the community, and certainly that will be our driving force in the next 12 months, the 3 years. I look forward to working with Ian as a deputy, and certainly look forward to working with a fantastic team of councillors that are supportive and really do a lot of great things to Wellington to make decisions happen. To all the team and all the staff at Wellington Shire Council, you know, certainly prior to being a councillor, you know, being a resident, you'd think that they don't do much, but this council does a lot, and I'm really, really proud to be living in Wellington and being a resident and working with such a great team of people. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Mackenzie. We'll move on with item 3, declaration of conflicts of interest. I don't think we have any, do we? No. Item 4, confirmation of minutes of previous council meetings. Can I have someone to move that? Councillor Crosby.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the minutes of the resolution of the ordinary council meeting of 19th of October 2021.
Do I have someone to second? Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? If not, carried. All good? Item 5, business arising from previous meetings. I don't think we have anything. Acceptance of late items, item 6. I don't think we have anything. Item 7, notices of motion. No additional notices of motion. Item 8, receiving of petitions or joint letters. We have nothing for that. Item 9, invite addresses, presentations or acknowledgements. None today. Item 10, questions or notice. Nothing to add. Item 11, office reports, General Manager Corporate Services. Do I have a mover for item 12.1, Assembly of Councillors? Councillor Crosby.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillors record for the period 11th October 2021 to 24th
Microphone.
of... Thank you for that prompt.
Sound like the voice of God.
Not quite what I was thinking, but never mind. I repeat that I move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillor records for the period 11th October 2021 to 24th of October 2021.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, carried. Councillor Crosby.
Just a quick note to say, hopefully from this day forward, we will be more of those meetings in person than the various Zoom, Skype and team meetings that we've had in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to item 12.2, adoption of council meeting dates. Do I have someone to move that? Councillor Stevens.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr Mayor.
Microphone.
Microphone, please.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe our first hybrid meeting, we must have a microphone on.
Sorry, I thought I turned it on. It's obviously the switch is faulty. Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move the Council, 1, adopt the 2022 Council meeting dates and times as attached, and 2, publish the 2022 Council meeting dates and times on Council's website.
Second, and Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? If not, carried. Councillor Stevens.
Yes, well, I'd just like to echo the comments of Councillor Crosby, Mr Mayor. I just hope that we will be able to have all our meetings for 2022 face-to-face, because it's really much better to be able to get together and meet with the council, councillors, the officers, and also it's great. We've got a public gallery. That's exciting too. So yes. So I just hope that we'll have a face-to-face 2022.
Thanks, Councillor Stevens. Item 12.3, approval of instruments of appointment and authorisation.
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Marr.
I move that Council, in the exercise of the powers conferred by Section 224 of the Local Government Act 1989, known as the Act, Section 147(4) of the Planning and Environment Act 1987, and the other legislation referred to in the attached instruments of council resolution and of appointment and authorisation, resolve that 1, Council Officer Hamish Mival be appointed and authorised as set out in the instruments as provided at attachments 1 and 2, and 2, the S11A instrument of appointment and authorisation be signed and sealed by the Chief Executive Officer.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? I've got to always remember to look on here as well. If not, carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. The Planning and Environment Act requires council officers whose duties include administration and enforcement be authorised and appointed via a resolution of council. So this is what that has done. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Marr. Next item is item 13.1, sale to Maffra off-road trail. Now, we actually have someone in the gallery. Norbert Fusel is here to speak to that matter. So, Norbert, if you would like to come up and just state your name and you have 3 minutes to address the council. Thanks, Norbert.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm Norbert Fusel, retired GP, and I live in Sale. As I think most of you know, I put in a petition about 2 years ago to have a dedicated Maffra to Sale bike path developed, and with the petition it was a 3-month campaign and we got 2,000 signatures, and probably only about 1 in 10 people we approached actually said no, they wouldn't sign it. So there's a great will in the community to have something like this. The previous council was enthusiastic about the petition and said they'd do the expensive feasibility study, and I was surprised with the outcome. I had no idea how expensive it would be, but it's $6 million for the build and another $1.5 million for maintenance over the 60-year lifetime of the track. It just seemed amazing to me. I appreciate with that high cost and with the Shire developing intra-town bike lanes and also the South Gippsland Rail Trail project that there may not be enough money at present for that project. However, I note that Morwell to Traralgon now have a bike path, and Warrigal to Druin now have a bike path, so there's precedence for this. And I still think it's a very worthwhile project for the future, and we'll probably need funding, federal, state government funding, and look out for that. And I'd like there to be an interest group, which would include a member of the council staff, to look into that funding and perhaps meet every 3 to 6 months to look to see where we can go. That's all.
Great idea. Thanks, Norbert. Thanks very much. Can I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Ripper.
And congratulations, Mayor.
Thank you.
I will now move that council resolve in response to the petition presented at the ordinary council meeting of 19th November 2019 in respect of the proposed sale to Maffra Cycle Park. 1. To consider and note the attached sale to Maffra Cycle Park detailed feasibility study as requested by the petitioners. 2. To note, say again, 2. To not complete any subsequent investigation and planning for the proposed path for the reasons recommended in the report, namely, that the proposal is not included in the adopted Council Plan 21 to 25 and Financial Plan 21 to 31. Priority is being given to funding the Urban Paths Plan, and that the proposed path has a limited tourism link compared to other trails as outlined in the report. 3. That the head petitioner be written to advising of Council's decision and to thank him for the proposal and petition.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Crosley. Is that motion opposed? If not, carried. Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. A little bit of background, that the council received the petition on the 19th November 2019 with 2,048 signatures, drawing council and Danny O'Brien MP's attention to the need for an off-road cycle track between Sale and Maffra. 2. Requesting council and Danny O'Brien MP to fund investigation and planning of the park. And council in 2019, we allocated $50,000 of the budget to complete a feasibility study. And I acknowledge Norbert Fussell has said that we had no idea of the cost. Now, the Southern Rural Water apart from there are a lot of other areas in this that the report provides details on, but Southern Rural Water identified 12 potential channel and drainage crossings along the proposed route. So that means dollars. So whilst I would have loved to have seen this go ahead, being a cyclist and every day around everywhere around Stratford, Maffra, all the rail trails, I would have liked to have seen it. However, as was mentioned, it was not in our council plan or a financial priority. So hopefully in time, down the track, it may come up again. But I certainly thank the head petitioner and to those 2,048 signatures who all got on board to identify that a track that between the area of Maffra and Sale, and I won't go on, but you can read along how many shared path locations, etc. So I'd say all the best to those petitioners, and I will hopefully see you out cycling.
Thanks, Councillor Ripper. Item 14.1, Road Discontinuance, Government Road CA 7A1 SEC C Golden Beach. Do I have someone to move that?
I'm happy to move that.
Thanks, Councillor Tatterson. Do I have a seconder?
We're going to move it first.
We'll move it first, yes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I move that Council, pursuant to Section 206(1), including Clause 3 of Schedule 10 and Section 223 of the Local Government Act 1989, resolve to advertise its intention to discontinue the unused government road at Golden Beach, being Crown Allotment 7A1, Section C, Parish of Delegates, and 2, place a notice of the proposed discontinuance of the unused government road in the local newspaper and serve a copy of the notice on abutting property owners and statutory authorities. And 3, in the event that no objections are resolved to discontinue the unused government road at Golden Beach, being Crown Allotment 7A1, Section C, Parish of Delegates, and place a notice in the Victorian Government Gazette. And 4, provide the Department of Land, Water and Planning with a copy of the gazettal notice to advise that the road has been discontinued.
And Councillor Wood seconded that. Is that motion opposed? If not, carried. Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This is a fairly procedural thing. It's looking at closing an unused government road and allowing it to be used for other infrastructure. So this saves council getting drawn into being an authorising point on some of the gas and pipeline needs in that area. So it's very procedural and a good thing to do.
Thanks, Councillor Tatterson. Before I move on to the final item, I'd just like to mention one thing I didn't pass on with the significant wind event. If there are any other Wellington residents that are having troubles, please ring the Wellington Relief Line on 1300 137 218. That's 1300 137 218, and we'll be able to assist you. So moving on to item 15, further gallery and online comments. Do we have any of those?
Mayor, we do. We have one online comment from Mr Batchelor, who is a member of the German Shepherd Dog Club, who uses some space down at Canal Reserve, just interested in Council's recent information about the council plan and what impact that might have on their club or what opportunities there are for their club. So I understand council office has already been in contact with Mr Batchelor, but we'll close this request off in writing directly.
Thanks, Acting CEO. We don't need to move into closed session, so I'll declare the meeting closed at 3:29. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Well done.